What is going on, y'all? Gamers Goon here today with your not Big Ten, my apologies, your March Madness Bracket 1.0, my predictions for it. This is the first time that I've really sat down and I'm going to talk through things about specific matchups. We had the AI video, we had the wheel video out by now. You'll be seeing this one later this afternoon. I am recording it right after uploading the wheel video, however. So this is the first time I'll be talking through things all the way through. I'm not fully sure yet whether or not I'm gonna go certain ways on my final one. So this one could still change because I'm gonna be up in the air about some of these games still. So make sure Wednesday you come back because there will be an updated video if I do talk myself out of some of these games. Auburn. I think this is St. Francis, Pennsylvania, and is that Alcorn State or something? I don't really know. It doesn't matter. Auburn winning, and we're just going to go around to the number ones first. American, Mount St. Mary's, Duke's going to win. Even with Cooper Flagg not playing, if he doesn't play, it sounds like he will. It's going to be a blowout. Florida versus Norfolk State, same thing there. Houston versus SIUE. I'd love to see SIUE win. Matter of fact, SIUE is going to win. I'm just kidding. I'm just saying that in case I can make a viral clip after the fact that I said that. Yeah. But no, SIUE is not winning. They're not winning. So then we're going to go through the bracket side. We're going to start over here in the south and work our way over here, and then same thing on the bottom. Louisville versus Creighton. We're going to talk about it. We're going to look into it a little bit. Louisville, Chucky Hepburn, Terrence Edwards, a team that's had some solid games, beat Clemson, who I'm pretty high on. They've played relatively close with Duke compared to other teams. Pittsburgh, not the greatest of wins, very close. North Carolina made the field. Kentucky, this was before Kentucky was banged up. Didn't look good against Tennessee. Then you got Creighton, up and down Creighton team, was able to beat a Kansas. Not able to beat Marquette and Bama those 2 times. And they beat Marquette. They beat UConn. They lost to UConn. They lost to St. John's. Creighton, Louisville, very similar teams. Up and down seasons. Their peaks, they can beat some good teams. Their lows, they can't beat some good teams. Louisville, I just have a good feeling about Louisville for this tournament. So I'm going to pick Louisville to win. Michigan versus UC San Diego. UC San Diego. So if you're into betting, the odds think that UC San Diego Tritons got a chance. I hate to break it to you. I don't know if they do. This guy's name is going to be really fun to say. Anawaniwa Tate Jones, I believe it's how it's pronounced. I might be incorrect, but either way, this dude's name is going to be fun to pronounce. He's the star of the show there. Then you got Vlad Golden. You got Danny Wolf. 2 big men that are you're going to have to find answers for. The game runs through Danny Wolf pretty much, Vlad Golden a little bit too. Do they have answers for it on the UCSD side, the UC San Diego side? I'm not sure if they do. Half of their shots from three-point land is dangerous. If you get hot, you can win. I'm going to take UC San Diego to win simply because it's margin. Teams get hot, and UC San Diego, if you're a three-point shooting team, you're going to get hot maybe. Maybe you're the team that gets hot. A&M versus Yale. A&M clear favorites here. Wade Taylor, the star of the show there for A&M. John Palakidis, the star of the show for Yale. You'll remember him from last year. They no longer have Danny Wolf. Obviously, we just talked about Danny Wolf. A&M, a couple good wins here and there. Beat Texas, who's a solid team. Made it to the tournament. Purdue, same thing. Texas Tech, same thing. Then they skidded a little bit. They beat an Auburn team that's tough. You look at Yale. Played close against Purdue, so they can hang in there maybe with some of these topper tier teams. I think this is going to be a better game than people expect. I don't know right now. At some point we are going to do a people's bracket type of thing where we are going to pick upsets that are over like 10 or 15% from the people, and that's going to be only 12 seeds or higher, because like people are going to pick UNC. Like, that's just what's going to happen, right? So the first round's just going to be like, we're going to have set parameters, but Yale might fit into that range, but I think we're going to still go with A&M and give them the edge. Ole Miss, I think UNC is going to beat San Diego State, so it'll be UNC versus Ole Miss. I like UNC here. You can't preview it. Ole Miss, just every time that I think Ole Miss is going to win a game, they lose. UNC, up and down. They've been playing better recently. This is RJ Davis's last go-around in the Big Dance, so I'm going with UNC to get at least to the round of 32. Lipscomb versus Iowa State. Iowa State, very good defensive team. This is a team that has been known for that. Keyshawn Gilbert is the one that I believe is done for the season. Yeah, he's ruled out for the season. Tamin Lipsey, somebody that missed the quarterfinal loss with a groin injury, not fully. He's expected to play, but not fully sure how much he'll be limited. Curtis Jones there, Milan Momcilovic there. Then you got Lipscomb. Lipscomb, a solid team here for what they are, 25-9. But you look at Lipscomb, not a great game against Arkansas, not great against Kentucky. Iowa State, to me, is better than these teams that they've lost against. Can't really talk myself too much into Lipscomb. They shoot it well. That's good. And then you better watch out for Jacob. I'm not going to try to pronounce the last name, but you better watch out for Jacob. All 5 starters can hit threes, so could create some problems. But when push comes to shove, I'm taking Iowa State. I don't know if Lipsey's injury is going to limit him more than what I'm thinking it is. I think he'll still be fine enough to beat Lipscomb. But maybe if he can't play, or maybe if they bother him a little bit and they can't really play Lipsey because he's in pain or whatever, maybe Lipscomb's got a chance. Maybe Lipscomb does have a chance. Maybe I'm underrating Lipscomb, but Iowa State I'm going to go with. And that's one I might talk myself out of, really. It'll really depend on Lipsey. They should win the game, even with Curtis Jones, Momcilovic there. But that's one that I might talk myself out of, and I don't know why I'm going to talk myself out of. This is one I could definitely flip on. Right now, I'm leaning New Mexico. And the odds say the same thing. It's going to be a close, good game. High-scoring team here in Marquette. Aggressive shooting team. Yep. Pretty much everything that I'm going over in my head, right? Like, high-scoring team. They're a solid defensive team. They're going to win and lose games because they get hot. They don't get hot. Then you look at New Mexico, and they top rebounding team, top efficiency team defensively. If you're missing threes, and this is one of the top teams to get in the rebounds for them, that's extra possessions for the Lobos. You're going to have to come up with less empty possessions if you're Marquette. I'm leaning towards the Lobos. I don't know if Marquette's one of those teams that is going to get hot and stay hot, because they're kind of a team that people already know can get hot. They're not like one of these underdogs that are like, yeah, we might overlook and might not try as hard. No. Everybody knows Marquette. New Mexico, they're going to come to play. They're going to win. Give me the Lobos. Michigan State versus Bryant. This one, we can talk about it all we want, I guess. Odds don't favor Bryant. Jaden Akins, really good year. Jace Richardson really came on there for Michigan State about middle way through the season till the end of the season. A lot of quality wins here. Illinois, Purdue, Maryland, Wisconsin, North Carolina, a quality win. Not a great loss to Kansas. Not a great loss there towards Wisconsin to the end. But a team that's pretty solid. Then you go to a Bryant team. They got Timberlake, by the way, and Pinzon. Those are their 2 guys. They didn't look good against St. John's. GCU blew them out. I just don't see much there. Michigan State, it's pretty easy to pick Michigan State. Well, why don't we just go down through this? Auburn versus Louisville. This is a tough one. Auburn is skidding as we speak. You got to get Chad Baker-Mazara locked in. He's, I think he had not an altercation with the fan, but a little spat with the fan where he was talking trash to a fan that was talking trash to him, and people were like, "Hey, he needs to lock in." I believe that was Chad Baker-Mazara. But Louisville, like we kind of already talked about, they have some veteran leadership here. Hepburn and the guys, Terrence Edwards there, Janai Broome, one of the best players, if not the best player in the country. Some big wins here. Even though they're skidding, you'd expect Auburn to probably win. UC San Diego versus A&M. UC San Diego versus A&M. We've seen UC San Diego get hot at this point and beat Michigan. A&M, a team that we thought maybe could lose there to Yale. If UC San Diego can do it once, who's to say they can't do it again? I'm gonna ride with UC San Diego. I'm gonna ride with the Tritons. Ole Miss Ole Miss is gone. UNC versus Iowa State. Can't preview it. UNC, they made a little bit of a run. They won a couple games in their conference tournament. They won a big game. Actually, they've won 2 games at this point in March Madness. Their time is over. Iowa State wins and advances. Even with some injury things there, I just think UNC is too volatile of a team to consistently put together 3, 4, 5 good games in a row. At some point, they're going to collapse, and it's going to be there to Iowa State. I think they will be overwhelmed defensively. The coach there, really, really good with Iowa State. Right. New Mexico versus Michigan State. Now, I really love this New Mexico team. I want to see them make a run. I can't have them do it against Michigan State. They got too much firepower. Jaden Akins, Jace Richardson. They will throw out Jackson Kohler at you. They will throw out Cohen Carr to make a big dunk, highlight dunk, boost energy, and get Michigan State's blood flowing once again. Trey Holloman they'll throw at you. Michigan State wins that game. Auburn versus UC San Diego. This is where UCA San Diego falls flat on their face. They do not beat Auburn. Big run to the second weekend. Don't think they can beat Auburn. We can look at it a little bit. We already talked about UC San Diego getting hot. Auburn, obviously, they're real cold coming into the tournament. At this point, you just expect talent to be talent. They got a close win here against Louisville, boosted up their momentum, got a week off, able to get ready for UC San Diego, handled business. Auburn, big win over UC San Diego, I'd imagine. Iowa State versus Michigan State. This will be a real fun game with not playing until having a couple days off in between. Lipsy gets healthy. This will be a fun one. I don't know if either team has played each other this season. I'm not sure if they have, but this would be a fun one. Because I think if a team were to beat Michigan State, it's going to be a team with the build of an Iowa State that can slow you down. Michigan State, an all-around pretty good team, but Iowa State, a team that can match it. So I'm going to go with Iowa State. And Iowa State versus Auburn. We're giving Auburn a Final Four run. We're going to give Auburn a 5-4 run. Mostly because they beat them once. I don't know if they've played a second time, have they? No, they haven't played a second time. But Auburn has beat them before. They're going to be banged up. No Gilbert, obviously. Auburn, I like their chances there. Duke versus Mississippi State or Baylor. Mississippi State, a popular upset. I think a lot of people are taking Baylor to win this game. Odds are in Mississippi State's favor, though. Josh Hubbard, somebody you're going to have to watch out for. Keyshawn Murphy, pretty good. VJ Edgecombe, probably a lottery pick, so he's another name to watch out for. I think they have Robert Wright also on Baylor. Mississippi State has beat some teams. Baylor, not great. Their best wins kind of against Kansas. Not feeling it with Baylor this year. Some inexperience there also with Baylor, so we're going to go Mississippi State. Oregon versus Liberty. This is one, I know I'm an Oregon fan. I know I am. This is one I'm nervous about. Because if you look here, Taylor Peter, Kaden Matheny, let's not even look at those. Let's not even look at those. Kansas State win, McNeese win. But three-pointer often and efficiently. That is a recipe for disaster. Top 25 in rate of 3 points, and they shoot over 40%. That is dangerous. Liberty has the makings of a tournament upset piece. Liberty, I'm taking them. I love Oregon. I want Oregon to win. I've just talked myself out of them, though. I think I'm going to have Oregon win. I talked myself back into it because I looked over at UC San Diego. One of those two 12 seeds are going to win. I don't know if both will. Oregon wins that one. Arizona versus Akron. Arizona not particularly great this season. They are heavy favorites, though. Lost to Duke, beat that Baylor team that we weren't super impressed with. Iowa State, good win. Texas Tech, good win. Houston, close loss. Iowa State, bad loss. Texas Tech, they've been up and down. They played some good teams. Akron, not really. Not really much there. Arizona should win. I know Arizona in the past has left some eggs on the board here in March. Not against Akron. BYU versus VCU. This game, I believe, is completely BS for both teams. I wanted to see BYU make a run. I want to see VCU make a run. I like both teams. VCU, that New Mexico team that's making a little bit of a run. We've seen them win. Hasn't had a great season in terms of big wins, but a team that I think could make some noise if they had an easier matchup. BYU, though, one of the hotter teams in the country. I know they lost there to Houston, but big 2 Iowa State wins. They've looked really good lately. I know they didn't finish the season off with their last game the best way they could have, but BYU, give them to me. Wisconsin versus Montana. Wisconsin coming off of a Big Ten championship appearance. John Tonji being the guy for them, shooting the ball really, really well at the moment. Blackwell is doing pretty well. They had a couple other guys hit some big threes for him. Been winning games lately. Montana, on the other hand, you look at them, did not handle Tennessee or Oregon really well. Utah State even had their way with them. Not really much here to really excite me. At the end of the day, Wisconsin should win that one. I haven't been super impressed with Wisconsin. I know they went on a run, but Montana ain't the team. St. Mary's versus Vandy. It's going to get a trendy pick here for Vandy. Vandy is the underdogs. I think Vandy has Hunter Salas also. And St. Mary's, you look at this. They beat Gonzaga a few times, but they are susceptible to some hiccups. The Boise State, the Utah State, not great losses. Beat the crap out of USC. Same thing, Nebraska. They won a few. Vandy, big upset against Tennessee. Then they lost. They've been up. They've been down. They beat Kentucky, a 3 seed. They lost to Florida. They play the higher seeds. They play all these teams that are highly ranked in this tournament. Vandy, give me Vandy to win. I like St. Mary's. I don't think they've got a good draw with Vandy. Alabama versus Robert Morris. We have, we really need to go into it. Alabama, high-powered offense. We all know this. Mark Sears, Grant Nelson. We're talking about Cliff Omoruyi. Then you've got this Robert Morris team. Didn't look good against West Virginia, who probably should have made the tournament. Not very many things here to talk about them. Very hot team, though. Won 16 of their last 17. Oh, that's real good. But ultimately, and they're turnover prone. Yeah, a game like that, Alabama puts up 100 points. So then we go to Duke versus Mississippi State. Mississippi State, a team I think could get the job done against Duke. I'm going to be honest. Mississippi State, you're going to go here. Didn't do great against Auburn. Played close against Kentucky. Played close against Bama. Beat A&M. Team that hasn't done particularly great against the top echelon of the teams, but a team that has played in some close games against them. Then you got Duke. Obviously, we know all about Duke. They've been one of the best teams in the country, if not the best team in the country. Even without Cooper Flagg, I think they are going to make a run. We just got to ride with Duke here. Oregon versus Arizona. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of this Arizona team or this Oregon team. I am a big fan of this Oregon team, but I just don't really know if there's a great path for them because Liberty's kind of tough. Arizona is like a 50-50. Then you got to run into Duke. I don't know if the path's really there for Oregon this year. You look at Oregon didn't handle Michigan State particularly well. Couple losses here and there. Didn't finish off the season as great as they started. Arizona, not a particularly great team either. Some big wins. Texas Tech's a good win, 2 of them. You got Iowa State, Baylor in there. Some losses to Iowa State, Houston. A former Pac-12 matchup. Last time Oregon had their number. I got Arizona this time. We'll just call it there. BYU versus Wisconsin. We already talked about BYU a little bit and how much I like them. Wisconsin, a team that definitely can get hot and stay hot, but I don't know if they'll stay hot for all of March. We'll see. Maybe they're the North Carolina State of the. I know they're a 3 seed, and North Carolina State was 11. But maybe they're the team that stays hot. Wisconsin, big win here against Illinois. Big win here against Michigan State. Big win against Purdue. Teams that are all in the field pretty comfortably. BYU obviously can beat Iowa State. They succeed more against teams that aren't super defensive based really. Houston, they didn't really fare well with. I think if you get in a shootout type of game, BYU, I like their odds. You got to lock in defensively if you're going to stop BYU. Vandy versus Bama. And I think we do have a sample size of this. Yeah, Bama's already beat Vandy. Pretty big last time. I think it will probably be the same high-powered offense. Don't know how much. Alabama really let Vanderbilt play in that game. Duke versus Arizona. Do we really even need to talk about it? We've already mentioned how we're not really that high on Arizona, but we are high on Duke. It's pretty safe to say Duke would win that game if we get there. Then we get BYU versus Alabama. This is a game right here. That I think could shock you. They didn't do well against Houston, but they've played well against some of these teams that put up more points. Iowa State's a good defensive team, mind you. You're not going to get that same defense at Alabama. But they do have Auburn wins. We're going with BYU. We're going to go with BYU. Finding a way to answer Mark Sears and company. We're going to go with BYU to play Duke, where once again, we can go into it. I like this BYU team, but Duke, I don't know who's stopping them. I really don't. So, kind of chalky right now. 1 and 2, Auburn and Duke in there. Florida, we're going to go to their side. UConn versus Oklahoma. If you watch some of my videos already, you know I'm a big fan of Jeremiah Fears of the Oklahoma Sooners. UConn, not a good draw for him. Solo ball, Liam McNeely healthy. They got Reed in there from Michigan from last year. It's just a team. They got Diarra. They got a team full of talent that can go get you 10, 15 points. Oklahoma, they have a couple guys. That can go get you a bucket. A lot of veteran leadership other than their best player. The best player's a freshman. But they do have some veterans in there to able to do it. Dan Hurley, you got to count on Dan Hurley to win at least one, right? You got to win at least one. Here's another upset. This is why I can't have multiple 12s. Colorado State over Memphis. I like it. As you can see, Colorado State is favored. Memphis, not good this year. As a 5 seed, they're not good. They do have that Michigan State win, which is good for them. Not good against Auburn. They beat Ole Miss, Mississippi State, whatever. All these games were before Christmas. Well, before January. They haven't had an impressive conference run. Colorado State didn't do great against Ole Miss, who Memphis did beat. But they've been one of the hotter teams here in March. A big win against Utah State. The Utah State's in the tournament. Boise State, Utah State in the tournament. Boise, once again. Colorado State got hot, stayed hot, made it into the tournament. They're a team to watch out for. Give me Colorado State to keep up their hot streak. Maryland versus Grand Canyon. Shout out to Grant Foster. I always say it the other way around. Tyon Grant Foster, he's the guy from last year everybody was talking about with this GCU team. He's back. They got an upset last year. I don't think it's in the cards this year. Maryland's just got too many weapons to throw at you. They got Derek Queen. They got Jacoby Gillespie. They got Rice. They got Rodney Rice, Selton Miguel. They have Julian Reese. Yeah, all five of those guys on here on this little blurb. All of those guys can go get 20 in a game that they need it. If you stop one, guess what? There's another. And then there's another. And then there's another. You got to stop all, which is crazy. They are a tough out now. They are susceptible to, if you can get them to dive into their bench. I don't think their bench is that great. But the problem is, say you get Derek Queen into foul trouble, then Julian Reese got to step up. You got to try to limit one and the other and try to make it just be one guy out there at a time, or maybe at most two that can beat you. Because all those guys on their day can beat you. So it's going to be tough. Maryland, I got to ride with Maryland. Maryland's a team that I like to think can make a deep run. Missouri versus Drake. This is another popular upset pick for a lot of people. Close here on the markets. Mark Mitchell for Missouri. Ben Sturtz for Drake. This Drake team, you see some good wins. Vandy a good win. Miami a solid win. Kansas State a solid win. Bradley a bubble team. Not really a bubble team, but a team we thought maybe could go all the way in terms of making it to March Madness. But yeah, their coach came from the D2 level, brought a few of their players. They're playing well. Missouri, tough conference that they played in. Had these battle-tested games, beat Florida, beat all these teams, right? You'd imagine Missouri comes out on top. Drake, a team that you can't sleep on if you're Missouri, but I think Missouri would come out on top. Texas Tech versus UNC Wilmington. This is pretty cut and dry for me. Yeah, no upset really here. JT Toppin, I think, is really good. Darren Williams from Texas Tech, pretty good also. Big wins here. All three teams that could make runs. Skidded a little bit. Beat Baylor again. Kansas, solid team in the tournament. Don't love Kansas this year, but a big win for them. Then you look at UNC Wilmington, and where is the results? They lost to Kansas by, 18? And their big wins are against guys that aren't here. Texas Tech, easy pick for Texas Tech. Kansas versus Arkansas. I've been back and forth with this one, so this one's definitely one that might change in the final video. Kansas is the favorite from the markets. Hunter Dickinson, Zeke Mayo. Yeah, got a few other guys there. Badunga, been really solid for him. He's somebody that I think could be a pro, like the athleticism on him. Then you go to Arkansas. It's about Eversitt, DJ Wagner. You might be getting Boogie Flan back here. They are playing this tournament right now. Who are they without? They are without Adu Thero. We don't know if he's going to play, and that's going to change whether or not I think they win. So I'm going to go with Kansas for now. St. John's versus Omaha. Omaha, first time in the dance. Do they get over the hump? Some solid scoring there for Omaha, but you look at this. Didn't do good against Minnesota. UNLV, yeah, not particularly too exciting. Are a hot team, won 18 of the last 21. But St. John's, I love this St. John's team. Kadari Richmond, RJ Luis. You got, once again, can't pronounce the name, Ojapor, I think it is. Good defensive team. Rick Pitino got him locked in. St. John's wins. Elite defense. I don't know how you beat St. John's right now. Florida versus UConn. This is going to be a popular place to have Florida bounce out. Don't fall for it. Florida is really, really good. UConn, I know that they kind of underwhelmed. They got Liam McNeely back. They're starting to win games. Even with Liam McNeely back, they have a tendency to go down, kind of, and then play comeback. Walter Clayton and company. Give me Florida. They are one of the best teams in the country. Don't be surprised if they win the national championship. Colorado State versus Maryland. I like this Colorado State team. We talked about it, but Maryland, I just don't know how you have an answer for their guys. Too many guys to throw at you. Give me Maryland. Missouri versus Texas Tech. Missouri was on the brink of elimination against Drake. And then we get here to Missouri versus Texas Tech, and Texas Tech just has all the right answers. They have all the right answers. JT Toppin, they have Williams. They just have all the right answers. They have all the right answers right now. Good 3-point shooting team, Missouri. A team that I wasn't super impressed with. They do have a big win against Florida, Alabama, two good teams, but a team I haven't been super impressed with. They can win some big games. Texas Tech, though, give me them. St. John's versus Kansas. We already talked about this Kansas team not being super impressive. Same thing with Arkansas, really. R.J. Luis, Ojiofor, Kadari Richmond. We love them all. We're going St. John's. We're big St. John's supporters in this tournament, by the way. Florida versus Maryland. This is going to be a great game. This is going to be a great game. Yes, you're looking at Florida, who is the hottest, one of the hottest teams in the country at the moment. Big wins there in March. Bama twice. You got Tennessee. Florida, really, really good. Walter Clayton, one of the best players, if not the best player in the country. I know Janai Broome and Cooper Flagg are the two playing for that. Walter Clayton should be in the running for it. Derek Queen. This is going to be absolute cinema. Give me Maryland. Give me Maryland in a big win for the Terps. We get St. John's versus Texas Tech. St. John's. I'm telling you, watch out for St. John's. Texas Tech, another team with a good profile to make a deep run. I just love this St. John's team. Rick Pitino's got them playing a good way. Maryland versus St. John's. I like that Maryland team. I really do. But I'm just a big St. John's fan this year. I really am. I think they got a lot of weapons. Defensively, they're going to lock you down. They could get to 80 if they need to. They're a team, though, that is really going to fluster Maryland. Maybe make the freshmen make some freshman mistakes. Not Julian Reese. Get Derek Queen kind of a little sped up and make a mistake here or there and maybe cost the team the game. Then we get to Houston's side of the bracket. We got Georgia Gonzaga. This is a good one. Gonzaga, one of the more analytically good teams. As you can see, they are favored pretty well, actually, 6.5. Georgia, they got Asa Newell. That's pretty much all I can tell you about Georgia. They aren't really that great, to be honest. They're solid. They can beat some teams. They had that Florida win. They had a Kentucky win, but haven't been particularly great. Making it to the dance for them was kind of shocking. Gonzaga, good analytical team. Do I think they're going to make a deep run? I don't know. Gonzaga, though, I think enough to get at least one over Georgia there. I was wondering what I got a text from, but it's a St. Patrick's Day text. Clemson versus McNeese. Now, shout out to, I forget his name, the McNeese team manager. The team rallies behind him. It'd be a cool story to see them go far and see him be the guy for to bring the energy, right? Will Wade, really good coach there. Clemson, though, I'm just a big fan of Clemson this year. Didn't win that Louisville game, but they have a couple good wins here since Christmas and since January began. They're a team right now. Chase Hunter, I think, is pretty good. This team is, officially on both sides of the ball, 15-2 in their last 17. Really good. Clemson team, underrated in my opinion, at a 5. McNeese, I like you guys. I don't think you got a good draw. I think you should be a little bit upset. Purdue versus High Point, we've talked about it a little bit in some of the other videos that we made. I like this High Point team. Even the odds. This might be the closest odds out of any 4-13 game. Kaufman-Wren. If you can stop Kaufman-Wren, I think High Point's got a chance. And we've talked about it here. They got Jeslyn Bodo, one of the better rebounders in the country. If he can figure out how to stop Trey Kaufman-Wren, High Point's got a chance to win this one. We're going High Point. We're going with the upset. I don't know why I'm going with High Point, but I like High Point. Illinois versus Xavier. This game scares me. This game scares me. I'm trying to figure what I should do here. Because if Illinois wins, they beat Kentucky. If they lose, Kentucky wins and goes to the Sweet 16. Those are my two options. I don't think Texas or Xavier can beat Kentucky, but I do know Illinois can beat Kentucky. But I don't feel comfortable that Illinois will beat Texas or Xavier. That is the weird portion that I'm at. I think I'm going to ride with Illinois. A little bit of bias there. Maybe I'll change it for the last one. Obviously, you know, I'm an Illinois fan. I grew up in Illinois, and then I went to Oregon for college. So, you know, those are my two teams, right? Well, that's going to be tested because technically they could run into each other in the Final Four. I don't know if it's there, but Illinois, a team that I think could beat Kentucky. Troy, I want to talk myself into Troy. Good defensive team. Offense isn't really there. A little banged up Kentucky team. We can look at it a little bit here. I just don't know if I can really talk myself into Troy. I'm trying to do it. I really am. I've been trying to talk myself into it the last however many hours this bracket's been out, last 12, 14 hours, whatever it is. Troy, I like Troy. I think this right here though is scaring me. They aren't particularly good against those bigger teams, and even injured, I'm scared. I'm scared because they're not a good team in terms of offense. They really aren't. They can get maybe some second chance points, good rebounding, good defense. I just don't know if I can buy into the Troy agenda. I'm trying to talk myself into it, but I just don't know if I can get there. I don't know if I'll get there by, what is it, Wednesday that the bracket's closed? I don't know if I'll get there. UCLA versus Utah State. UCLA versus Utah State. Another one that's fairly close here. Utah State, we'll look at them first. Iowa win. A potential bubble Iowa. Fired their coach, Fran McCaffery, by the way. St. Mary's a good team. San Diego State, kind of in the tournament. They have to play to get in. Didn't finish the season off too great. New Mexico, another tournament team. They're a good Utah State team. I'll give it to them. They're pretty good. But are they great? No. And you go to UCLA, same thing there. I haven't been particularly impressed. UCLA has had some good ups. They have that Michigan State win. They have a Gonzaga win. They have an Arizona win. But they've been up and down all around all season. Give me Utah State. Give me Utah State to win. Tennessee versus Wofford. Do we really even need to talk about it? Wofford, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. Tennessee, a lot of options here. Zakai Ziegler, Chaz Lanier. Those two guys are the two guys you got to worry about when it comes to Tennessee. You get Wofford for them. Not much here. Corey Tripp is a guy you got to look out for maybe with them. Efficient offense. Average defense. You don't win big games with average defense against a team like Tennessee. You just don't. Gonzaga versus Houston. I can't have all these 1 seeds make it to the Sweet 16, can I? Graham Ike, pretty solid. Khalif Battle transferred in, been pretty solid for him. Gonzaga has a Baylor win, Indiana win, lost to Kentucky in close fashion. UConn, same thing. UCLA, same thing. Went 1-2 in the St. Mary's ones. They have Ryan Nembhard. They got to go up against Houston. Houston has been really, really good. They started off the season slow, though. LJ Cryer, Milos Uzan, Emmanuel Shart. They have... They had another guy here, and his name is I'm losing his name that starts for him. He's pretty good. Give me Houston. Give me Houston. I'm gonna go Houston. Clemson High Point. Like I said, I like this High Point team, but I don't know. You know what? Have we had anybody make an insane run? We had a Sweet 16 there for UC San Diego. BYU a little bit, maybe. Nothing crazy here. We'll throw a High Point in there. High-powered offense, making it their way through. They got They got just Jeslyn Bodo. They're gonna lock down Clemson. They're gonna get a win. I like this Clemson team. I think Clemson can make a run. They just ran into High Point and Jeslyn Bodo. Houston versus High Point would be the next matchup. Illinois versus Kentucky. I've already mentioned. I think Illinois could beat Kentucky. Kentucky coming in banged up. Illinois finally healthy. I think Illinois' biggest task is getting past game one for them because they have a tendency to kind of fall flat sometimes. Kasparis Shakastronis is the guy for them. Then you got Will Riley, who I think might be their best player. I know Kasparis is the lotto pick and this, that, and the other best player on the team, playing the best, rebounding, assists, he does everything for him. Will Riley, though, if you need a bucket, Will Riley lately has been that guy. Will Riley just going and getting buckets. Will Riley is somebody that I think an NBA team will be very happy to get in the late lotto, or maybe not even in the lotto. Kasparis, great player, but Will Riley, somebody that I think is really going to have a good tournament. He's somebody that I think you'll see watching the games. At times, he can be a little bit more aggressive than Kasparis. So, Will Riley, watch out for him. Kentucky, we already talked about them being banged up. But, yeah, we're going to ride with Illinois there to beat Kentucky. Utah State versus Tennessee. Utah State, we talked about them a little bit. Chaz Lanier there for him. Utah State, up and down season, beat a decent St. Mary's team, San Diego State. I think this is where it ends for them. I don't see how they have answers. Zakai Ziegler going to lock in defensively. Chaz Lanier, best offensive player. Setting up a rematch from earlier in the season where Illinois lost to Tennessee by 2 at the buzzer. I think Illinois would be ones to get revenge, fully healthy. Both teams pretty much are, I don't know if they're the same teams, but I don't think they're that much different than what they were earlier on in the season. I think Illinois could get the bounce back there against Tennessee. Houston versus High Point. It's over for High Point. It is over for High Point. Their run is done. High-powered offense. Jeslyn Bodo. It's all going to come crashing down when you got Houston, who's going to lock in defensively and really ruin your day. Houston versus Illinois, same thing there. Illinois, high-powered offense. Don't know how great we are defensively. Houston, really good defensive team. I think they lock it in. So you got 3 of the 1 seeds making it. I know it's kind of chalky, but this is what's going to actually happen. Auburn versus St. John's. Give me St. John's. Auburn is not that team this year. I know they're gonna win and get to the Final Four, but they've been on a little bit of a downwards trend. It's all gonna come crashing down in the Final Four for them. St. John's, give me the victory. Duke versus Houston, battle of elite offense, elite defense. 2 teams that have been the best teams in the country all season long. Duke holds a win over Auburn. Houston doesn't. Cooper Flagg should be very healthy at this point. Duke, a lot of weapons. Isaiah Evans to throw at you. Con Knipple. They got Malawach out of their center position. They just got a lot of guys. Proctor's there. Duke is dangerous. I don't have an answer for Duke, but you know who does. I'm kidding. Duke beats St. John's. I'd love to see St. John's win. I don't know if anybody really has an answer for any of those guys that are currently at Duke. Even if you don't have Cooper Flagg, they've proven that they can win without Cooper Flagg, so they're just a really dangerous team. We're just going to make up a random number. We're going to go 164 here for this one. Anyways, thank you for watching my not mock draft. Thank you for watching my bracket prediction 1.0. And then I believe my next one will probably end up being mascots later this afternoon. This one's probably going to come out 2, 3 o'clock, and then the other one will probably come out around 7 or 8 o'clock. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.